Listening Part 3 Information Tips and Strategies. How to listen effectively. Listen in full sentence mode, not vocabulary mode. This will help you understand ideas more than specific words. Avoid focusing too much on vocabulary. Vocabulary is useful and important, but only for some specific questions. Listen and repeat ideas in your mind. This will help you absorb information and keep it clearly. You can take notes while you listen. You will be given a notepad, so this can help you keep information more. You can write notes in your language. The notes will not be graded. Make sure writing doesn't interfere with listening. Only write some words or key ideas. Put yourself in the situation, imagining the context visually, and putting yourself in the situation can really improve your understanding of the context. What would you do if you were in the situation and had this problem? This can help you answer better. What information to focus on the most? Understand the situation and context. This will help you understand the context more. Identify who the speakers are. What is their role? Who has a problem or situation? Identify the kind of problem or situation it is. Is it a store, between friends, at work? Focus on the questions asked and the responses in the conversation. Identify specific information about the topic. What information is provided about the topic? This information can be related to details of the topic, suggestions, solutions, possibilities, or anything related to the main topic. Information can be indirectly related, does not have to be specifically said. Focus on ideas more than vocabulary. This will help you understand the questions and answers clearer. Ideas will be related to the situation. Specific words will only confuse the answers. Vocabulary association is important. Try to connect words, associate them while you listen. This will help you keep information and ideas better. So here we are in a sample of listening part 3, listening for information. So here we can see the instructions. You listen to a conversation, then 6 questions, okay? And of course, you will only listen to the conversation and the question once. So again, this says here the conversation is about a woman who gets information about student clubs. So you see this topic, student clubs, it requires a lot of information about it. That's the kind of topic that we have here, a topic that has a lot of information about the subject. So when we listen, we need to try to keep as much information as we can. Again, repeating ideas or taking notes is the most important to keep information while we listen. Let's listen.
Hi, I'm looking to start a college club, and I was told that the Student Society office was the right place to ask.
I can definitely help you out with that. What kind of club are you interested in starting?
Well,
So I'm keeping in my mind already, she wants to start a college club. That's all we need to know.
I found a brochure of clubs around campus, and I noticed there wasn't a music club. I play guitar and I sing, and I thought maybe it would be fun to start a club so students could get together and make some music.
That's
Most important part there is she wants to start a music club. She mentioned she sang and plays some instruments.
awesome. Okay, let's get you started. You will need 10 students who support your club and will sign a petition to launch your club. There's a special day next week, Club Day, where you can set up a table with posters or signs to gain students' interest in your club.
That sounds
So in here, I would keep that she needs something to start the club. She needs some students to support. And he also mentioned a few things related to that. So we need to try and keep as much as we can about what she needs to do.
fun. I'm sure I can get at least 10 people interested. Is there funding for the club?
Yes, if you get 10 signatures and start your club, the Student Society budgets $40 to new clubs, and that money can be used towards anything, such as event planning or food. If you're looking for additional funding, you could apply for a grant of up to $300.
Wow!
So in here, another important tip, we need to try to keep in mind the questions asked. So the woman asked, is there funding for the club? So then the man responded to that and he gave the information. So keeping in mind the questions asked is very important as well. He said, yes, there is some.
Maybe in the future we could even put on a concert at the college pub or something. And where do clubs usually meet? Do they book rooms?
You see there? Where do clubs usually meet? Keep those questions in there. In listening for information, there's a lot of questions asked by one speaker.
Clubs get the privilege of accessing a lot of college space, like any of the rooms or lecture halls. You could even hold club meetings outdoors. The only thing that you have to be careful about is the noise level, as you're going to be a music club. I'd recommend the Couch Lounge next to the college pub. You can be loud, and there's even a piano there.
Great.
So you see, he responded to her question about where do they meet, and he gave lots of information about that.
Is there a form I need to fill out?
Ah,
Is there a form I need to fill out? Another question asked.
yes. Are you going to be the president of the club? There can be up to 3 executives.
Just me for now.
Perfect. Fill out the form and get your 10 signatures. Then we can process your application.
So it's very important to keep as much information as we can. And there are keys for this part, especially the questions asked by one of the speakers. There's one who's asking questions and another who's giving information. It's usually the way that part 3 is, a kind of question answer style with lots of information about one topic. Listening to the questions. Repeat the question to better understand it. Focus on who the question is related to. Usually, the speakers are a man and a woman. Make sure to understand who the questions were about, the man or the woman. Focus on the specific part the questions are asking. Make sure to understand the connection between the question and dialogue. The questions in part 3 are usually related to the topic or situation, specific information. Where are they? What are they doing? What is the speaker looking for? What does the speaker suggest? Details about the topic. Information can be in the form of a report in which much is provided about the topic. Suggestions. What does the person do? What will the person do? What suggestions are made? Responding the questions. Avoid selecting answers only because of words you heard. Answers usually contain words from all the dialogue. In most cases, answers are made to confuse ideas with vocabulary. Vocabulary association important here. If we listen to words together or associate them, we can avoid this error. Focus on the idea of the answer more than its words. Understand what each answer is suggesting. This is very important for longer answers and for questions about suggestions and advice. This is very important for questions which are indirect. It wasn't clearly stated in the dialogue, so we have to imagine what the answer could be. Eliminate wrong answers. Finding which answers are wrong is as important as finding the answer. Usually, two answers are very wrong because they do not connect well. For the remaining answers, look closely at what is different between the answers to better select the correct one. Selecting the answers. Focus on grammar. Often answers are confused by providing similar ideas but not the correct grammar tense. For example, present, past, future, and present perfect. Modals can confuse even more. Could, may, might, should, would, have to, and need to, and must suggest different ideas. Focus on opposite ideas. Often answers are confused by providing similar ideas to the dialogue, but for opposite people or opposite ideas. Focus on vocabulary association. Often answers are confused by providing similar words to the listening, but don't connect to the question or have different meanings. Answers can have synonyms to the listening, so think of similar words. Focus on meaning, specifically for indirect answers. Some answers require understanding of the complete context of the conversation more than specific information. So we should understand what the speakers are suggesting. Sometimes sentences can mean more than the words we hear. For example, expressions, idioms, and slang. Now, looking at the questions, again, the questions are automatic in the listening. Here we have, just in this practice, we have to press next. So again, when we listen to the question, we need to repeat the question to try to understand it better before we look at the answers.
Question 1.
Why does the woman want to start a music club?
So repeat, why does the woman want to start the music club? That will help you answer. You have to think about the woman. Why does the woman want to? And we have to keep in mind their roles. So again, about the answers here, this sounds more like a direct question. Usually in part 3, the questions are direct. Why does she want to? So then about the answers, everything here was mentioned. There's live music, there's play music, practice with their group. So the important part to keep in mind again is I remember live music was mentioned, but was it more people can hear live music? Or was it more people can help people learn to play music? So there's a difference there. We hear the word music, both cases, but we need to remember the associated parts. That's why vocabulary association is so important while you listen. Associating words and ideas, not just listening to specific ones. Okay, let's look at another question.
Question 2.
What must the woman think about when planning their sessions?
What must the woman think about when planning the sessions? Okay, so sounds again a little bit less direct. Planning the sessions, I don't really remember that part. But it was suggested somewhere in there about planning sessions here could mean the times when the people get together. And I know that they spoke about that in the end, which brings me to another point to mention that the questions may not be in order. It's not question 1 first, which was said in the beginning. Question 2 was said in the second part. No, the questions could be throughout the conversation. And I remember somewhere in the end talked about her planning their meetings. So, and there was mention of advertising, there was mention of cleaning, there was lots of people, it says including everyone, and the noise, there was mention of noise there as well. So this question again is direct. And however, I feel that the actual question was indirect because I don't remember them saying specifically planning the sessions. Okay? But it must mean about when they get together. What should she consider? Okay, so again, when we look at the answers, we need to look at vocabulary association there. Let's listen to one more.
Question 3.
What does the woman need to start a club?
What does the woman need to start a club? Very direct. I remember them talking about how she can start the club. Remember, this conversation was about starting a music club. And the man told her several things that she needed. And so we have here the answers: a developmental plan, a space to meet, agreement of 10 people, a letter from a professor. Some of those were mentioned, some of those were not. So I remember it talking about 10 people a little bit, but did it say agreement for 10 people? Let's remember that sometimes when we listen to those specifics, like 10 people, that doesn't mean that this is the answer, because we have to consider the whole answer: agreement of 10 people. I remember them talking about spaces, places to be. But do they need a space to meet to start the club? Those are things that we need to think about while we do the listening. Part 3. That is the end of listening part 3, information, tips, and strategies.